Hello everyone, welcome back to episode 3 of Role Explain series where we explain some of the most popular finance careers. So far we are done with financial analyst and equity research analyst and now it's time for FP&A analyst. Without wasting any further time, let's get started with the basic question, what is FP&A analyst? So FP&A stands for Financial Planning and Analysis. In simple terms, if I have to explain, FP&A analysts help businesses plan their financial future. See, they answer 3 major questions. How did the company perform? How is the company performing right now? And how will the company perform in future? FP&A analysts are mostly future oriented. They not only tell where the company is, they also help in deciding where the company will be going. So that was a simple short intro. Now, what does a day in the life of FP&A analyst look like? What are their roles and responsibilities? Let's break it down. First and most important, budgeting. Every company creates budgets. FP&A analysts work with different departments to estimate their expenses and allocate the resources. For example, how much should the marketing team spend this year? And coming to HR, how many more new employees should be onboarded? In that way. That was about budgeting. Second, forecasting. Forecasting means predicting future. Questions like, what will the next year's sale look like? Will the profits increase? Are the costs expected to rise? They basically forecast the financial future of a business. Third, variance analysis. This is comparing their forecasts with the actual results. Then you will identify the variances and you have to justify them. For example, we expected a sale of around 10 crores, but we landed up only till 8 crore. So you have to investigate the difference, that why was the goal not met. That is about variance analysis. Next, business partnering. Interesting part of FP&A analyst is they work with so many other teams, be it sales, be it HR, be it purchase, admin. They work with various teams to understand their challenges and accordingly help them with solutions. Next, management reporting. FP&A professionals prepare reports, dashboards, and presentations for senior leadership. Their recommendations influence the company's strategy. So management reporting is one of their most important tasks. Now, where do these FP&A analysts work? Now, most of the students think they only work in banks. No, they have opportunities almost everywhere in this industry. They work in technological companies, FMCG companies, startups, manufacturing companies, MNCs, pharma companies, almost everywhere. See, every company needs a budget. Every company plans their budget. So wherever there is a budget requirement, you will find a FP&A analyst there. Now, what are the educational qualifications required? The good news is that this role is open for various backgrounds. So no matter if you're a BCom, BBA, MCom, MBA, CA or CA Inter, CMA. See, it's not mandatory that only MBA professionals can do this. MBA definitely helps you, gives you a fair share of advantage, but it's not mandatory. Now, the most commonly asked questions, what are the skills required? Skill number 1, Excel. As always, Excel is the backbone. So I've already spoken enough content on Excel. So I hope that people are aware that Excel is the most important skill in the finance career. Skill number 2, Power BI, because data visualization is mandatory for FP&A analysts. You have to know how to present the data because that is how you will be able to present your reports for management reporting. So Power BI helps you transform your data into actionable insights. Skill number 3, financial statement understanding. You have to be well versed with the statements like revenue, expense, profit, loss, income statement, balance sheet, everything related to financial statements. You don't have to be an accounting expert, but you need to know how a business makes money. Skill number 4, budgeting and forecasting. Now this is the heart of FP&A. Understanding assumptions and planning future, predicting future is critical. Skill number 5, communication skills. See, FP&A professionals interact with multiple teams, so you have to ensure that your communication skills are top tier. You should be able to explain your financial insights in a simple language. That was about the skills part. Moving towards the next part, how can freshers get into it? Here's a simple roadmap. Step number 1, master Excel and start practicing the real business case scenarios. Step number 2, learn Power BI, basic data visualization tool, create dashboards and show your projects. Step 3, understand business budgeting and forecasting. Study how a business plans its revenue, expenses. Step number 4, build projects. You have to show that you have worked on it. because recruiters love candidates who demonstrate practical. Step number 5, complete internships. Even internships in accounting, finance, even small internships has value. Step number 6, apply for roles such as financial analyst, business analyst, junior FP&A analyst. These are the fresher roles. Remember, companies don't expect freshers to know everything. They just need a person who has the right knowledge and the willingness to learn, who has the curiosity to learn. That was a simple fresher roadmap. Now, the most common question as to what are the salaries offered. For a fresher with almost 0 to 2 years of experience, the range is 4 to 8 LPA. For a FP&A analyst with 2 to 5 years of experience, 8 to 15 LPA. And then senior FP&A analyst, 15 to 25 LPA. They mostly have experience of 5 to 8 years. Then FP&A manager, 25 to 40 LPA. Finance director and then CFO, 40 plus. See, a typical FP&A analyst career path looks like this. You start with FP&A analyst or sometimes junior FP&A analyst and then senior FP&A analyst, FP&A manager, senior finance manager, finance director and then CFO. That's how the path looks like. Now comes the most commonly asked question. What is the difference between financial analyst and FP&A analyst? See, both mostly look same, but there is a small difference. Financial analyst primarily focuses on historical performance. What happened with the company? FP&A analyst focuses on future, that what will happen next. Their questions are mostly like what is likely to happen, what should we do next. So here's an easy way to remember it. Financial analyst looks through the rear view mirror and FP&A analyst looks through windshield. Both are excellent careers. FP&A, however, has a more advantage because it is more strategic and business oriented. So that was the difference between both. So next, one of you asked me that do include what are the top certifications which we can do for this career. So now the beginner level certifications are Advanced Excel certification, Power BI certification and Financial Modeling course. These are beginner level. Coming to intermediate level, FMVA, Financial Modeling and Valuation Analysis, and CMA. These two are intermediate level. Going to advanced, MBA Finance and CA, MBA Finance and CFA. Again, giving you a warning, don't just collect certificates, build skills and use your certificates as a support. Now, madam, how do I know that if FP&A is the right career choice for me? So, FP&A is the right choice for you if you enjoy analyzing business. You enjoy planning and forecasting. You like working with different teams. You like analyzing trends and solving the problems. And most importantly, you want a stable career with excellent growth opportunities. However, if you're passionate about stock markets and investment, equity research is a good option for you. If you thrive in high pressure, investment banking is a good option for you. But FP&A is good if you want visibility with the leadership, you like planning, strategizing, forecasting, and you prefer solving the actual business problems rather than doing the purely technical work. However, FP&A may not be the right fit for you if you don't like doing presentations and meeting people, if you only want stock market related careers and you prefer only the accounting work. It has its own set of cons as well. So you have to choose what matches your interest, what matches your personality, because at the end it's you who's going to work. And that's a wrap on episode 3 of the Role Explain series. Hope it helped you. If you found this video helpful, do like, comment, share and subscribe, and also hype the video so it reaches more people who are particularly looking for this. Do drop in your recommendations, suggestions or any other topic which you want me to cover, and I'll definitely add them in my to-do list. I'll see you all in the next video. Until then, keep learning, keep growing and keep investing in yourself. Thank you for watching.